And now it's time for Photo Booth Live Chat with John Young. All right, we are live here on a Monday night. Tonight, we are going to be talking photo booths. I've got Brandon Havrilla. Good evening, Brandon.
Good evening, John. How are you doing?
I am doing well, doing very, very well. We are broadcasting out to 10 different locations tonight. So a lot of you are going to be watching us on the PBN TV. This is our new channel for the Photo Booth News. I don't get the ooth in there sometimes. Photo Booth News TV, which is one of our new channels that we're going to be launching a lot of content on this fall, as well as we're into different Facebook groups. If you guys have got any questions or anything, any comments, just type those in, because all of those are being collected and put into the chat I have in front of me so that I can go and type into that. Like I'm going to type into there. If you want to follow the main video tonight, it is at pbntv.com/live. That will take you out to the main video player on YouTube, where we're going to be following the chat and such. That's the main one. You guys can pop out there and check that out. So if you followed our shows, Brandon and I have talked numerous times about iPad photo booths. We've talked a lot about those different things. And it's been about, Brandon, when was the last time we got together? Has it been?
It's been a good couple months.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think we were like sometime last spring we had a chance to talk. So I wanted to kind of have Brandon come on tonight, get an update on what he's been seeing. I wanted to kind of dig into a little bit about the whole upsell area on two different facets. One, the idea of upselling, because Brandon has a DJ company, he's got a production company, he's got a whole gamut of things, and he gets people coming in, how he is able to upsell his photo booth services, and then the times where the photo booth is booked, and then there are some things he can add to that. So we're going to take it from both different directions. So, Brandon, first off, last time when we talked, we were really talking about using the selfie or the iPad type photo booth. What, as the summer kind of progressed, what have you guys been using more of when it came to the photo booth side?
So we're still using the iPad based. All my photo booths are iPad based. I kind of refuse to go the camera route for a few reasons. One, to keep it simple. For my attendants and stuff, there's a lot less to go wrong. You don't have the cameras, you don't have, flashes and stuff that has to sync up and everything like that. And the software on the iPad side is, I think, a little more user-friendly, easy to set up. So that's the one reason I found the iPad photo booths seem to run a lot, easier in terms of setting up and our attendants running them. And the other reason is because we're a production and DJ company, like you mentioned, and the photo booths are more of like something we started doing on the side. We didn't want to invest as much money and time programming and training and stuff into those DSLR booths as much as the iPad booths were just like, hey, we can do this too. And then they really took off and became, a big hit and, most of what we do now besides the production side of things. So we're still running iPad booths. In terms of this summer, though, what has really taken off is the new roaming style, or the handheld version of the iPad photo booth. So we have two of those now from Danny Max over at Max Photo Booth Design.
Yep.
He makes a great one. So we've got two of his now, and those are a big hit, between selling them during the week for corporate events and meetings and stuff like that to, the weekends to private events, mitzvahs and Sweet 16s and stuff like that.
Let's talk about the unit that Danny Max has in just a second here. For those wondering, Danny Max makes a variety of different photo booth things, and he's going to be joining us on Wednesday night. Monday nights are going to be kind of our talk to photo booth operators and getting their side of the story. Wednesday nights are going to be our gear night shows. Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. And Danny Max, I think, is about 3 weeks he's going to be joining. This week, we've got Steve Lynch on Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, from Atlanta Photo Booth. And he's going to come in and talk about a lot of their gear and kind of give you a little sneak peek at some of the things that might be coming out here this fall and into winter, which we'll see at Photo Booth Expo 2020. Okay, so Danny got you hooked up. Kind of, for those who have no idea what kind of a roaming device is, kind of, I don't know if you have one handy, but kind of describes it for folks.
Sure. So I've got, let me
Oh, if you got an image, better
we
yet.
do this I don't have one with me, but let's see. How do I share my screen again?
Yep, share's on the bottom there.
Got it. Okay.
And you can select which window you want to share. Perfect.
All right. Okay, so let me get to a roaming photo booth picture. So this is one of Danny's here. This is at a food festival we did recently. So basically, it's a handheld version, and it goes off that ring light style. And his have a few different options, that you can get with it. But I have one of his mirror faceplate ones, which is a big hit. That it's almost like the Moby booth style, which is the regular booth we run, where it's got the mirror finish around the iPad, and then it's got the ring light around it. And I should have a video here. So this is the ring light with a custom start screen on the app, and you'll see the LEDs around the perimeter chase in like a cool RGB pattern. So that's to attract attention while you're walking around, and then the guests get to choose their experience and everything. So this is kind of what it looks like and how it functions. And basically, the cable comes out of the back and goes into a battery pack, and that's what allows you to charge it and turn the lights on and stuff.
So what kind of a runtime is, because the battery is in his pocket in this particular image. What have you been experiencing for runtime with that?
So the one that Danny recommends to get with his boosts are very powerful. They could last, I would say, 6 to 8 hours, no problem. I do have some smaller ones that we use, just because our attendants, like sometimes the one is too big for their pocket or whatever, or if we just have a smaller event, it's less cumbersome to carry around a smaller battery. So there are batteries that are, smaller, that will last like 2 to 4 hours. And that's powering the iPad and powering the ring light.
Is that just like a USB power supply that is in your pocket then with that, or is that
So it's a power supply. It does have a USB port on it, like you would use to charge your phone, but it also has like a DC. I don't know if it's 9 volt, 12 volt. I don't know.
Okay, so it's a DC
got one of those that comes out of it, and that's what actually plugs into his booth to power the iPad and the ring light.
So let's do a little compare and contrast. When we talked in the past, we had kind of the standard iPad booth that had, and for those of you wondering if you've seen across the bottom that we're talking about a contest that we're going to have coming up. We're going to be doing a photo booth tips contest. This is a handheld version, which is last time. Oh, you have one handy there. You get a lot of great pictures of that.
Yeah. So those are the handheld ones, but I'm just trying to get. I know you're bringing up the regular stand.
So in my question, there we go. There's the back of a regular one. What is the response, the audience response for engagement? This compared to the mobile one.
So it's interesting because they both gain a lot of interest. They just gain it in like a different way. The roaming one, when we're walking around, especially like festivals and that food festival and the family night we did and stuff, when it's walking around, guests are more like what is that kind of thing? And then our attendants will walk up and be like, hey, you guys want to take a picture? And then they're like, what is that? You have to explain it to them. It's a roaming photo booth. You take your picture, you could text and email it, because they don't like that. They don't want to get their pictures taken and then not know where they go, kind of thing. So you got to kind of explain the whole thing to them, that they could text it and email it to themselves, and then they're, cool with it. And what we found, when we did the food festival, it was tough because it was hot outside and people were eating and stuff like that. So we got turned away a lot more than we were expecting to.
Sure.
A lot of, no, I'm good right now. Or, we explain, they're like, oh, cool. What is that? And then we tell them it's, for pictures, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, we're good. Or we're eating, or whatever it is. But they both spark a lot of interest. And what I found is the corporate events that we do, particularly we did one last week that was social, like business networking event.
Hmm.
And we had the roaming photo booth walking around, and a lot of people really loved it, asked for cards and stuff. They were like, this is so cool. I've never seen this before, kind of thing. Whereas I feel people take the regular freestanding photo booths kind of more for granted now. They've been around a lot longer, and people are like, wow, this is cool, but we've seen it before. It's just another event that we're experiencing, kind of thing. Um, but I still get compliments on the Moby booth and everything all the time as well when we run that booth, in terms of the ring light. And I think mainly it comes down to the software, because people seem to always be amazed and interested in all the different features. Like, oh, we could do GIFs and boomerangs, and we can do filters and stuff like that. And then they're expecting a printout, and you tell them you could text or email it, and they think that's really cool too, because as long as photo booths have been around, the texting and emailing and the stuff that mainly comes off the iPad photo booths is still kind of new. It's new to the photo booth industry, so not as many people have experienced that.
Sure. That is, yeah, it would be something that, as I've explained it to people, and they're like, "Oh, what? There's no print? What?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit different, different beast. Are you using the same software then, regardless if it's the Ring Roamer, the Ring type device, or the other?
So I run Snappic for both my booths,
Okay,
and I do that because I already have the license for the account,
sure.
for it. So rather than paying for a second one, because most of the iPad softwares out there are subscription based, for the ones that offer a lot of features and stuff. So that makes it tough. But with that said, I pay for, if you're not familiar with Snappic, they do a few different monthly plans. So there's an enterprise plan, which is like their all-in features kind of thing. That's the most expensive, and then they have like a pro one and a basic one or something like that. And I do pay for the enterprise one for my main boost because it gives me the most features with my regular photo boost, and I sell those features on all my parties. So it's important for me to pay a little more to have those features, whereas with the roaming photo booth you don't need some of those things that come with that, for most clients, like just little things like white labeling a website and stuff like that, or customizing the website and the start screen and little things like that. So um, we do a lot of events where I have both booths out. I have the roaming one and the regular one, or I have two roaming photo booths out, like the food festival. And when it comes to that, I still stick to the same software because my attendants know how to use it and stuff like that. But I do have a separate account. I have two accounts with Snapic, and I'll purchase a per event license for the second one, because if I purchase a per event license under the basic, it's actually cheaper. It's like $20 or whatever it is for the event,
Hmm.
versus just purchasing an extra license under my enterprise account, which is like $60. So, if I'm doing a regular photo booth and a roamer, I'll use Snappic on both, but I'll use my enterprise on the regular booth with all the features, and then I'll use a basic version with a different account on my roamer.
Interesting. I guess I didn't realize there was two. You kind of were mentioning with your enterprise account that there's additional options. Are you upselling then that they can have a selfie type experience, and then hey, but if you want to be able to do gifts and this and that, is that an upsell for you with that, or how do you package that?
So the way I sell my photo booths, I try and target more of the, I don't want to say high end, but more of the clients that kind of want that unique or creative or something new, versus just a standard photo booth with prints kind of thing. So the way I sell my photo booth packages are all of them have, and include texting and emailing. It doesn't cost me anything extra. It's an extra 2 minutes of setup on the website kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I charge a higher rate to begin with, and then I'll let them talk me down if they really don't have a budget, or if they booked me for a DJ and they just want a very basic photo booth or something. I'll always come down maybe and take out features or whatever it is. But I kind of start with everything all in, and I include GIFs, boomerangs, custom designs for each of them, because it really doesn't take me much to create the stuff in Photoshop and upload one design each. But then there are upsells too that I sell a lot more to corporate clients, things like branding the microsite, branding the gallery that they text to themselves. Even those things are just a little bit of extra setup on the website. Those are something that I charge more for, because the corporate clients will often see the value in paying more to, receive their logo on the website or certain things like that. And then that will, ultimately get them more business or more brand recognition or whatever it is. So for them, that's worth it to pay. Whereas, a bride and groom paying to put their names on the top of the website, you know, isn't that important to them usually.
Sure, sure. That's an interesting. There's two business models, and one of which that Brandon just described. The give them everything, and then like, well, okay, so that isn't in your budget. Let's take things off. And what's cool about that business model, for those of you who, I'm going to just kind of go through this for you guys a little bit, is that what's cool about that is that you can start. Let's just throw a number out there. Starts at $1,000. Oh well, we don't want we don't have that much money. Well, we can start taking things off, and by removing things, that helps Brandon maybe come down. He still could be dollars above his market, but it's going to also show value for those things. And there might be times where people would be like, okay, so we ended up with $750 or whatever for it, and we didn't have these things. Well, they understand that Brandon has a service worth $1,000. And they know that, well, maybe we should upgrade, go back to that. And they may do that on themselves or what have you. The other option is that Brandon could start at a bare bones and say, okay, our bare bones is at 750. And then we have all these additional things that you could buy and get into. Two different types of business models when it comes to selling the services. But for those of you who you feel comfortable giving them everything and then taking off, it's kind of a neat way because it's a lot easier to justify the cost as you're taking the cost off that way compared to, okay, it's a $750. Well, if you want the gift, it's $100. Well, what makes it worth $100? But when you're taking that $100 off, it's interesting how the client says, oh, it was $100. Maybe I should spend that $100 because those are really cool. So,
Right.
so great way
Yeah,
to
I
handle
found
it.
it. I found it easier. I started as just selling, hey, our photo booths, X amount of dollars, like you said. It's
Yeah.
say it's 750, and oh, you want to add, extra custom, or you want to add custom designs in general, then it's an extra $100. And I found that it's easier for me to just charge 850 up front and include those custom designs. And then, like you said, I mean, often I'll just get booked for that and I don't have to worry about taking things off. But like you said, it is easier to then take things off and say, well, honestly, if I take off boomerangs and stuff, it's going to save you like $50. And then they look at it and they're like, okay, $50, let's just put that back into it and give it, the full experience type thing. And then I'm right back, where I started,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, no, that's a great business strategy. So folks, if you have not looked at either of those philosophies, you just got a nice little rundown here of an example of Brandon doing it there for you. Okay, so you've been doing the iPad. Engagement is different. Not good or bad, what have you with that. One thing as I was looking at your pictures is that most of your operators were holding it kind of at, I would say, tummy level. Is there a reason for when you're doing that for the height of it to get a better picture, or is that just how it was the most convenient for them to hold
So
the?
it's kind of it's funny now that you bring that out. I've never really noticed that, so I'd have to go back and look through them. I mean, it's usually, I guess, their preference in terms of how they feel they'll get the best shot.
Okay.
And some people engage with the things differently too. If it's an older crowd, I feel like they kind of want to see it more in front of them. Whereas if it's like a younger crowd, they probably want it up high, like a selfie kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So it's a little bit of both. The pictures from the food festival, they're all probably down low because they were just tired of holding the roamer for 9 hours each day. So holding it up high would probably get tiring, even though Danny's is like under 3 pounds, which is unbelievable with the iPad in it, but it still definitely gets tiring after holding it up, just muscle memory and stuff of holding that there for a while.
Oh yeah.
So most of them is probably just, due to that. But I would also say, some of the pictures are of them actually sharing the photos. So they might have held it up to take the photo and then
Oh,
they hold it down or bring it down to a comfortable level where the guest can enter their information.
very very nice. It's one of those things you don't think about some of these aspects of it until you have one or somebody has one. And
Yeah,
after a while, it's like, okay, so where is that best spot? Is
the
it a
best
high?
spot. Yeah.
I think the idea of depending on age, because older people probably aren't, grandma and grandpa aren't wanting to look up and where is
Yeah.
that compared
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
yeah, we're looking. So interesting. Interesting. So as we look ahead, moving forward, is there something that's kind of catching your eye that might be the next big thing in this arena of the kind of iPad selfie booth? What have you picking up?
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I haven't seen anything new or particularly new since the roaming side of things. I mean, there's the robot, I think, which is been at the expo and stuff, that actually drives around, and it's cool. I don't see it, in my market at least, as much as the roaming ones,
Hmm.
the walk around ones, the handheld versions. I think the handheld versions are really cool. Um, with that said, I mean, Danny just released a new one that is for the mini, the iPad mini,
Yep, I saw that at DJ
which
Expo.
is even smaller, lighter weight and stuff, which is awesome. And I love Danny, but I just feel like we're getting to a point where the photo booth is just going to disappear. I mean, next is going to be an iPhone, and then we're going to be out of everything. But I mean, it's great, how lightweight and small that is. And in terms of, I don't know, in terms of new stuff, I don't know. I don't know the answer if the photo booth side of things, I have noticed a decline in bookings of actual photo booths, like just at weddings and stuff. I've just found people kind of moving away from it, and I
Hmm.
don't know if they're just, you know, they've seen it at enough weddings, or it's just, I don't know if it's too pricey. I don't know what it is, but I have noticed that going down, and I've been able to sell more to corporate clients over anything, because of the branding side of things.
Sure.
So I've been able to sell, whether it's wrapping the photo booth or customizing the designs and stuff. It's been a lot easier to sell both the roaming one and the social freestanding one to corporate clients. And I don't think that's really going to go anywhere. I think it's just kind of evolving on the software end of things. Like Snappic just released a beta for video effects. So they're now doing like slow motion
Oh, nice.
videos, and you can put cool, filters. I forget what the name of that is on the Mac photo thing. There used to be a thing where you could duplicate yourself into like 4 quadrants and then color each panel or something like that. So there's cool video effects like that, which is just going to add another element, and there's certainly more things they could do. They can make a video side of it where you could leave messages for the brides and grooms. So, I don't know. I think it's just kind of the technology end of it evolving. I haven't seen anything like physically new.
Yeah, yeah. And to a point, there's only so many things you can do with having a device to take an image, and
Take a picture, right?
exactly, it's the
And
software.
keep it interesting.
Let's talk. Let's head to the direction where we can talk about either upselling a photo booth on a contact that has contacted you from a wedding or for a different event, or with the times when they contact you for the photo booth and you're upselling other parts of that. That'll be our next topic here, gang. On the bottom, you've also noticed the Photo Booth Expo is coming up here in February of 2020. We're going to be down in Las Vegas at the South Point Casino. You guys can go to photoboothexpo.com, click on the tickets right now, and if you enter that promo code and it shows up, and I believe it's PBX Show 2020. The discount code's been showing up right below Brandon and I. Go there. You'll be able to get the current cheapest ticket that they're offering. And right now it's the cheapest pass, and the price continues to go up until the show. So if you're interested in going down, that's where you want to get your photo booth pass. If you're a DJ watching this and you're like, hey, I want to come down and check out the Disc Jockey News track that the Disc Jockey News is doing down there, you can go out and check that out at djntv.com/Vegas. That's where the DJs go, and there's a DJ track in one part of the building. There's the photo booth on the other part of the building, and of course, there's an exhibit hall with photo booth stuff like there is no tomorrow. So, Brandon, let's get back to that. There's times you mentioned that the popularity, of course, of the selfie booth and how it's kind of taken off. There are times I'm guessing people who are calling and saying, "Hey, we want this," and then you get the opportunity to either upsell something else or what have you. How have you been handling situations like that to try to maximize those phone calls?
Yeah. So, I mean, my business model the whole time has really been to try and become like a one-stop shop for my customers. And I never want to let that sacrifice quality though. So if there's something I don't think I can do particularly well, I'm not going to try and do it and fake it or whatever.
Hmm.
So for example, like tents, I don't really do tents, but I'll do everything else. I have tables and chairs. I have, everything but the tents. So I work with other companies here that will give me a wholesale rate to do the tents, and I'll bring them in. Um, and my clients know that. I'm upfront with that. I'm not trying to hide it. Like, I own these tents. I tell them I work with, great tent companies and this and that. And I think my clients, kind of respect that, and they'll still want to book everything through me to sign one contract. And they know then I'm handling everything and all the contacts through me and everything like that. So they don't have to worry about contacting other people. Um, so with that said, I've really focused on trying to, become like a one-stop shop for
Hmm.
people, and making that, or putting that in front of their face is not necessarily the easiest thing, but you don't want to overwhelm them either. So with that said, like you said, I'll get a phone call for a photo booth, or hey, we want the Red Max Roamer kind of thing. So we'll go back and forth. I'll get through the booking process, get the event details, everything like that. And then, usually if I'm talking to them on the phone or I have them in the office or something like that, I'll, mention that we do other stuff, or mention, hey, I noticed you're having a backyard party kind of thing, or, it's a backyard birthday. Do you need any assistance with tables, chairs, tent, or, are you looking for a DJ or stuff like that? And then that might spark something, hey, yeah, we actually need this kind of thing.
Sure.
So I mean, just another example where I didn't upsell on photo booth, but they booked me for a roaming photo booth because this local venue that is not particularly big, um, doesn't really have room to set up a photo booth in the venue.
Right. Okay.
And they know I have the roaming photo booth. So they had pushed me to this client, and she had been on our website, loved the roaming photo booth. And she was like, we also need a DJ. Your site looks great. We want to book you for both the DJ and the photo booth. All right, no problem. We booked it. And then she goes, we're having our ceremony on site on the deck. And I know this particular venue doesn't usually do weddings in general, let alone wedding ceremonies. So I brought it up in our conversation. I was like, are you providing the chairs, or does the venue provide that for the ceremony? And she goes, no, I think we have to provide that. And then I was able to jump in and say, well, we have wedding chairs, let me send you these. And, because we're already there for the rest of the event, I can give you them at, X amount. We sell
Sure.
them at 350 a chair. So it's 350 a chair, but I'm not going to charge you additional delivery because,
You're already
we're
there.
already there for the other
Yeah.
stuff. The van's already going there. And then, they see that as, okay, done. Let's sign a contract and book it now, because I know if I call another company, they're going to charge me delivery to get them there, kind of thing. Um, so that's another example how, just a photo booth lead turned into so much more for me.
Hmm.
But with that said, I've had things come the other way too, where people come to me and don't necessarily want a photo booth, or don't think they want a photo booth
Sure.
until I'm able to sell them on it, and hey, we're having my daughter's sweet 16, we want a DJ. And then I'll bring up, oh, photo booths are a big hit, at sweet 16s, the kids love it, this and that. And they'll say, oh yeah, my daughter mentioned it, but she says that all the sweet 16 she goes to, the printouts get left on the tables and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, so I mean, we have an option without prints. We have an option that's just text and email, so you don't have to worry about them getting left on the tables. But now the girls can text it to themselves right away, and they can post it on social media, which is what they love to do, and use it a year from now to give a happy birthday shout out to,
Sure.
so and so or whatever. So that's been a cool way to, sell that stuff too, in having the options. And of course, if you have a photo booth that does prints, you could always eliminate the prints and just use social. And if you have those and you have the roaming one, now you could offer the roaming one either in addition for a cocktail hour or something like that, or as its own service as well.
You mentioned, of course, when you have that call, they want something else, and you say, "Hey, would you be interested?" Do you have more success, or I should say, is your success just because you can explain it to them and drawing that image in their head, and not, you don't have the flyer, or or they wanting to say, "Hey, can I send me pictures or something?" I mean, how what do you have to do for that sale? Do you have to show them things, or can you just draw enough out of the conversation to make the pitch?
So I would say it's 50-50. I think most of them I can usually explain what it is.
Hmm.
And most of them have already been on my site or seen us at an event or whatever it is, where they kind of have seen one of our photo booths. So if they've seen the roaming one and they're wondering what our regular one looks like, I tell them to picture, a white backdrop, and picture the roaming one on a white stick, or,
Sure.
whatever,
Yep. Yep.
something simple for them to picture what it is. And it's a freestanding kiosk. It has the same mirror and the ring light and stuff. And if they've seen our regular photo booth, which is usually what happens, they've seen our regular photo booth, but they haven't seen the roaming one. So to explain that, I tell them picture that ring light with the screen and the camera and everything, but handheld and portable, and our attendant walks around with it, kind of thing. And I could usually explain it, I think, pretty well, that they understand it and are ready to, make a decision on it. Or if not, I usually try and point them to my website, to that page, Either I have a separate page for the RevMax roamers with, videos and product, not product reviews, but a promo video specifically on the roamer from an event, that really shows everything it can do in terms of branding and everything like that, and the experience it creates in the venue and at the event. So I try and point them there because I have a lot of pictures and videos there.
Hmm.
If they've already kind of been there or whatever, then of course I have like the folder I was just going through to show you. I have plenty of folders in my photos that I can quickly pull up and email over to them if they want more information.
Nice. Nice. You mentioned, of course, on the website and the page, you have both videos and photos of the things. Do you find that people are looking at one or the other more to, if a person were like, oh, I want to get started in this, is it something they need to have both immediately, or would the video be the thing to jump on first, or the photos? What would you recommend?
So I don't really have time to look at all the analytics on my site in terms of that. I wish I could to know really what was working, what
Hmm.
wasn't. I just don't. There's not enough hours in the day for me to keep up with everything. But I wish I could, because that would be very good to see, and either focus in one direction more than the other, and not waste my time so much on things if they're not being seen. But I will tell you, I mean, it's a proven thing in all the social media marketing, whatever classes or YouTube videos or whatever, that video is like the future, or video
Yeah,
is the new wave of marketing that you have to get onto. People want to watch videos, but with that said, they don't want to watch 3 to 5 minute or longer videos. They want to watch like 30 second, 60 second, something very quick. Um, so I kind of edit my videos and design them with that in mind. And like I think the roaming one is about 60 seconds, but I try and capture exactly what the roamer is, people having fun. We were at an event and there was a band at the wedding, and I had the roamer taking pictures of the band while they're playing and having a blast. And it really just captures how the roamer can like go around the event and capture everything that's going on everywhere, and not just in the corner with a backdrop kind of thing.
sure.
And I got all those clips, right in the first 10 or 15 seconds, so that when a client's on my website page, they don't even have to click play. It automatically plays with, volume off, but it automatically plays. So when they
Yep.
get there and they're starting to read paragraphs, this video is playing in the bottom,
Yep.
and their eyes will go there and, see those clips and click that way.
Ooh, this is fun.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think both are just as important. I think pictures can really capture it too. Like some of the, let me share the screen again. Um, Not to digress from that, but these are the cases Danny's
Hmm.
coming, and they're awesome. So those are his roamers, but let's see. I think, some of these pictures really capture the fun, and just being in the middle of a festival, with the backdrop. Um, and
One thing that I'm liking about the roamer, I do not I'm not using that with my shows. I've got them on a stand. Is
okay,
that you don't have the kids coming up and grabbing it and wrenching the thing down to fit them, and then adults coming and the kids wrench it up to fit mom and dad. I've
right.
had That's been one of my biggest frustrations with using the podium style, is that you just have to adjust it, and there tipping it up and down as needed.
Right, right. Yeah, the roaming one's fun, and I've noticed, the same thing. I think because the attendant is holding it and operating it, they don't expect to have to do anything really. They just want to pose and do their
Get,
picture kind of thing.
yep, get their sign.
Whereas, like you said, with when we do the freestanding one, I mean, people come into the booth and they just start touching the screen, whether we have an attendant there or not. They just start touching the screen, and the attendant's like, "All right, are you guys ready?" With his finger over the start button, and they'll still run up and tap start, just
Yeah.
because they want to touch it. It's there kind of thing.
Let
Uh,
me. Kink. Yeah, I
but
want
yeah,
that.
so I think those pictures, or some of those pictures, definitely capture it, just as much. And I mean, the first event I did when I first got a roamer, I did both. I paid someone to come take pictures, and I paid someone to come take video,
Hmm.
because I wanted to capture both and just start marketing it
Yeah,
right
for
away.
sure.
But I would say, if you're doing something, if you have to go one or the other, I would say the first thing to do would be get pictures, because pictures are worth 1,000 words. Whether it's posting on your Facebook, your Instagram, anything like that, sending in an email, it's just a little easier than a video. But I think videos are very important too, to have a few of them too, to show people. and send to people and really show them what it's capable of.
Yeah. No, it's good information here tonight, Brandon. One last thing, you called your roamer device the Red Max. Did you guys
Yeah.
did you make a cool logo using your current logo, or did you
So let me see if I can find it. I think I have, you know what, actually, I'll pull up the video quick. But yeah, we basically, I wanted something, to name it. And the initial roamer I got was the ring roamer.
Mhm.
Let's see. So the initial roamer was the ring roamer. And, I'm not a fan of, as I don't think anyone necessarily should, but I'm not a fan of naming um, my equipment the name that it actually is,
Yeah.
because that makes it easy for the client to go search it. And if you have a bride and groom, yeah, they might not go buy a Moby booth per se, but if you have a corporate client, Pepsi or whatever, and you call it a Moby booth and they just Google Moby booth trying to find your site and they come across Moby booth site, they will probably just go buy one, because that $2,000 or $3,000 is not much to them.
Yeah.
So um, with that said, I've always tried to name my stuff differently. And the roamer, I was one of the first ones, at least that I'm aware of, on Long Island to actually have one of the roaming photo booths. And then everyone quickly bought it after they saw my video. But I was like, let me brand this its own thing. So we actually created our own business cards for it as well.
Nice.
That look like the roaming photo booth. So it's a circle cut out business card, and it's got the RGB ring lights around the perimeter, and then it says Red Max Roamer and where to find it and everything like that. And let me share the screen. Let's see. So this is one of the first promos I made for the roaming photo booth. But this is our regular logo.
Yep.
But then I go into the Red Max Roamer logo, and we created something simple that you'll see in a second.
So that's your standalone one right there.
Right. So that's the standalone, and this kind of then shows how much fun people have with the roaming one. So that's kind of the whole Red Max Roamer logo we created. Just very simple 2-layer thing that says, Red Max Roamer. And this is that video I was talking about where I cycle through and I explain it with kind of, closed captioning almost of what it can do.
Yeah.
In terms of, branding experiences and stuff like that. It shows how you can, if there's a dog at your party, you can, take pictures of the dog. And if there's, people.
Yep. 6-foot people. You can,
promote your business, stuff like that. So
yeah,
that was, the idea behind that. But I did want to kind of create a separate brand for the roamer, because we did a lot of corporate events with the roaming photo booth, and I wanted to be able to send a or give a business card out for the roaming photo booth, and people know exactly what it was. If we were doing a roaming photo booth, people are like, oh, this is awesome, do you have a card? And we give them our regular production card. When they get home or they whatever, put it on the table, it's probably just going to get oversaw. Whereas now they have a circle one that looks exactly like our roaming photo booth. When they see that, and someone else sees it on the table when they come over for the holidays or whatever, they're gonna be like, wow, what is that? And they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what it looks like. It's a roaming photo booth, and it looks like that. It's got the lights and all that stuff. So that was kind of our thought behind that.
Yeah, great idea. Great idea. Brandon, we're going to wrap things up. I want to thank you for being on tonight. You're kicking off our channel for us tonight. You were our first interview here. So great information once again, as always. And if people would like to just reach out and with any questions, or if Danny Max wants to send you a certificate to Starbucks for...
If Danny wants to send me, I'll go pick it up from his house. He's local to me. But no, yeah, people want to reach out, ask questions. I'd love to help out. You can find me on Facebook is the easiest way. Just search Brandon Havrilla, add me as a friend, and shoot me a message there, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Sounds great, Brandon. Once again, thank you very much. For those wondering, Danny's going to be with us here at the end of September on a Wednesday night. Monday nights are going to be our kind of spotlight for the photo booth industry, photo booth users, and Wednesday nights, the gear chat night for photo booth companies and such. So this Wednesday, we've got Steve Lynch from Atlanta Photo Booth, and he'll be coming in and talking about his full line of different gear and such. Brandon, thanks for being on tonight.
Thank you, John.
We'll catch you guys later. Good night, everybody.